light heavyweight in the United States and in the world, for that matter, Demetrius Oaktree Edwards, in a unanimous decision in Providence, Rhode Island. Kerry, you have fought Jeff Smith. In fact, in your last televised bout, we saw you fight world champion Jeff Smith in a very close decision. You threw a lot of hard kicks in that fight, as did Jeff Smith. Dan Macaruso is quite a different kind of fighter. What do you look to do against Dan Macaruso in this bout tonight?
I think my fight game will be the same as I fought Jeff Smith. Throw a lot of kicks and try to jam whatever he's got and stay inside close.
Well, Macaruso has a lot more reach than Jeff Smith. It's possible that he could come out using long jabs and long right hands, and he has pretty long legs. I think he has a height advantage of several inches over you. Will that bother you?
No, I like to fight inside, so that's where I'm going to be fighting. And that should fix his reach difference to my advantage.
In your bout with Jeff Smith, you tried to work inside on Jeff, and you were able to in the first few rounds, and then Jeff Smith started a type of strategy which kept you outside the last two rounds in the bout. How would you go differently now against Macaruso? Our fans here are not knowing a lot about the strategy of inside fighting and outside fighting. What could you tell them to look for that they will be able to tell when you're moving in on Macaruso, what it is that is making the fight go your way?
Well, I should be using my kicks first and following up with the punches as I close the gap. So when I get inside, I'll be using my hands a lot more.
Now, how do your kicks exactly help you close the gap?
Well, I will use my front leg kicks as jabs and roundhouses and that, and hopefully he'll be backing out of the way just enough for me to step down with my hands.
The thing that was so impressive in your fight with Jeff Smith was how hard you threw the kicks. What kind of training do you do that you think gives you the ability to kick as hard as you do? I remember you threw about 23 kicks around in each one of the first 3 rounds against Smith. Is there anything special you do to set that up?
Yeah, my main training for my kicks is running stairs. I have a set of stairs over by my club. They're about 210 steps up, and I do wind sprints up until I collapse. Usually about 9 or 10 times, and I'm done.
I see. Now, if you beat Dan Macaruso tonight, he's scheduled, I should say, to fight Jeff Smith in January, and that fight will go on whether or not he beats you tonight, as I understand it. Now, if you beat Dan Macaruso tonight, would you like a title shot at Jeff Smith?
Yes, I would. I enjoyed fighting Jeff Smith, and I think if I fight him again, I can beat him decisively.
You do feel that you can beat Jeff Smith? Okay, we'll be seeing Dan Macaruso against Kerry Roop in just a few minutes, and as soon as we come back from this break, I'll be talking with Dan Macaruso, get some feelings from him about how this fight's going to shape up. I'm here now with Dan Macaruso. Dan Macaruso is a United States light heavyweight champion with a win record of 18 against no losses. 18 wins, no losses. His most recent victory was over Demetrius Oaktree Edwards, who until that time held the #1 position in the world contender bracket against Jeff Smith. Dan, tonight you're fighting Kerry Roop. Kerry Roop has a record of 9-3 versus your 18-0. How do you think the difference in experience for you will make a difference in the outcome of this bout?
Well, seeing he is in his hometown, and we'll have a little trouble there, but my experience should pull me through.
When you say you're in his hometown, you mean that he'll have the strength of his hometown behind him, and I guess the fact that you have fought in quite a few different places around in the country should not cause you any real problems. Now, his last bout was against world champion Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith says that he has not fought an opponent who has kicked him any harder than Kerry Roop did. Smith won the decision, of course, but he said Roop kicked very hard. Have you done anything special in preparation for this fight?
Well, I've fought a lot of tough kickers before, and I haven't had any trouble with them. I just stand tight, work my hands, and I usually hold his toe.
What do you think is going to be your primary weapon against Kerry Roop, aside from the experience?
Well, I'm going to stand tight. Like I said, I'm going to use my hands on him and just stay right on him.
Now, what about kicks? What is your favorite kick that our fans would look for here to look out for, the Dan Macaruso specialty in kicks?
Well, the crowd loves the colorful spinning kicks, but I'd rather go with a roundhouse, right roundhouse any day. That's what's got the most power for me.
That's off the back leg.
Right.
Now, to look forward just a little bit beyond this fight, regardless of the outcome of this fight, I understand you will be fighting Jeff Smith in January in Providence. Looking a little bit beyond this fight, how do you anticipate the fight with Jeff Smith? It's scheduled for 12 rounds. That's a very grueling pace. Do you expect that fight to go the distance when you meet Jeff Smith?
No, I don't. I've been working very hard for this fight. I'm still not in the shape I want to be, but I will be January 10th. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time, and I will be ready.
Okay, and with Kerry Roop tonight, then, you look at that as a good warm-up fight for Jeff.
Just another workout.
Well, we'll be back with Kerry Roop as the number 4 contender in the world as he takes on U.S. champion, light heavyweight champion, Dan Macaruso. We'll be back right after this.
Again, Joe. This is Larry Black along with Joe Corley. Action look at some of the crowd getting ready for this light heavyweight United States Championship bout. And his challenger, the local hero, has just been introduced. Kerry Roop from Rochester, Michigan, with a record of 9 wins against 3 losses. And his most recent loss has been to world champion Jeff Smith.
Yeah, the crowd really ready for Kerry Roop.
Here comes their hero, Kerry Roop.
Kerry Roop of Rochester, Michigan, which is just a suburb of Detroit. A lot of his students and a lot of his fans here. A lot of people that saw him fight Jeff Smith and everything, but Macaruso's record, 18-0, surely gives him reason to be confident.
Here's Dan Macaruso, the United States champ, stepping into the ring. U.S. champ Dan Macaruso in red, Kerry Roop in the black pants. This is a scheduled 9-round United States title defense. Number 4 ranked Kerry Roop against the United States champion. Last-minute details and make sure they understand the rules.
Dan Macaruso at 6'1" has a 3-inch height advantage over Kerry Roop, which I think we'll see as they're getting the final instructions.
Now, Joe, while they're doing this, let's rehash the rules and go over that 10-point must system again.
Larry, if there's no knockout in the fight, then the judges determine who won the fight by who got the most points on their scorecard. They'll give the fighter that they feel wins around 10 points. The loser will get from 5 to 9 points. And the final score is tallied as a result of the scores of all of the rounds.
We're into round number 1, a scheduled 9-rounder. Larry Black along with Joe Corley ringside. Kerry Roop in the black pants. Dan Macaruso, the U.S. champ, in the red pants.
Macaruso coming out with a feeling round kick there to open up the round, and Kerry Roop responding with his traditional very hard kick. Hard punches exchanged there in center ring. Kerry Roop doesn't look like he is content to just pace himself in this first round, so he's really pouring on the pressure and making Macaruso come and fight.
Both these fighters exchanging hard blows, neither one really giving in to the other. They block and then they counter, and sometimes they don't get the block up in time, but they counter anyway.
A little redness already on the face of Dan Macaruso, especially in the right eye and along the right cheek. Roop ducking that head, that could be a dangerous thing for him. If he ducks his head down into a left knee as it's coming up, that could cause him a lot of trouble. Roop throwing some very hard kicks in with a hard right hand to the body, back with a hard right hand to the head. Macaruso covering well. That punch of Roop landed back on the ear of Macaruso, really making Roop fight. This is a tremendous pace. It would be difficult to see this fight go 9 rounds. There is some redness on the left cheekbone now of Kerry Roop, too, where the right hands of Dan Macaruso have been landing.
Well, as you pointed out earlier, Joe, sometimes they turn red for no reason, just from a light blow, but I don't think that's the case here.
Tremendous upper body strength in Kerry Roop, landing some really hard shots.
Fighters clinching on the ropes up above us. The referee breaks them, and they're right back in the center ring, slugging it out toe-to-toe.
See, so far in the fight, Roop has done as he predicted that he would do in our interview. He has closed the distance here and is working a lot inside on Kerry Roop, trying to take advantage of the upper body strength that he has.
Dan Macaruso is really red in the nose and face area.
I wouldn't think that Dan Macaruso would have planned to have come out with that hard a first round.
We'll be back right after this.
Back, I want to tell you that both of these men, their bodies are very red, taking punches and kicks. We're all here to see a fight. Man, they're really giving it to us out there. I would like to invite everybody to stick around after the fight tonight. We're going to open up the other side.
Larry Black along with Joe Corley ringside. We're getting ready for round number 2, a scheduled 9-round U.S. light heavyweight championship bout between Dan Macaruso in the red pants and Kerry Roop in the black pants. This is round 2.
Macaruso coming out using the long kicks now. Looks like Roop is staying back a little further. They threw spinning heel kicks at the same time, both landing on the shoulders. Kerry Roop with an amazing 20 kicks in that first round, Larry. Macaruso with 9 kicks. Macaruso now trying to put the pressure on Kerry Roop, landing hard uppercuts. With Macaruso controlling Roop with the left hand and then landing the right hand.
I'm very impressed with Kerry Roop's ability to fight back off the ropes. He's not letting Macaruso push him around.
A lot of real strong punches thrown inside by both men. Both men seeming to hold the other one in position with the left hand and punch with the right. Welts on the right ribs now of Kerry Roop. Once again, he was through 20 kicks in that first round. Macaruso 9.
Macaruso's kicks seem to have lost their steam. He's just throwing that leg out there as a check, trying to get Roop to drop his hands, but he's not throwing them hard enough to really make him drop his hands.
Macaruso never seems to throw any real fast kicks. He, in none of his fights I've seen him throw real fast kicks. He's just very consistent. He'll fight at this pace for, it seems like, from now on. Left hand with a good uppercut following by Roop, by Macaruso. He's seeing Roop drop that head, and he's got the uppercut there waiting for him. Hard right hand then landed by Dan Macaruso. Roop still dropping that head. Macaruso still trying to catch him with uppercut. He just caught him with one then. Roop still throwing the very hard kicks for the body.
Action slower in the second round, but they're still hitting those hard blows.
Blood seems like around the mouthpiece now of Kerry Roop. Hard right hand then landing by Dan Macaruso right at the bell.
And we'll be back with round number 3 after this. Larry Black along with Joe Corley, and we're getting ready for round number 3 of a scheduled 9-round United States title bout. This is for the light heavyweight championship. Here's round 3.
Macaruso with 11 kicks in that last round. Kerry Roop with 12 kicks in the last round. Roop with 32 kicks so far at the end of the first 2 rounds, averaging 16 a round, double requirement. Macaruso with a jump spinning back kick then went over Roop's head. Macaruso landing the hard uppercut, Roop landing the hard right hand. Macaruso can really take a shot. That right hand of Roop's landed very hard, and he's back with the uppercuts again on Kerry Roop.
Kerry Roop opened this round up with his own jump spinning back swing kick, and Dan Macaruso said, hey, I can do that too, and his went right over his head.
Roop taking a lot of punches to the head. A lot of uppercuts in there unnecessarily. Roop wanted to carry the fight to the inside of Dan Macaruso, and that's where he seems to be suffering. Macaruso with a hard spinning heel kick and went over the head of Kerry Roop. That right hand keeps landing on Kerry Roop's jaw. Macaruso sticks the jab out. Kerry Roop ducks his head and the right hand lands. If he If he ducks it too far, then Macaruso's coming with the uppercut behind the jab. So far, Macaruso more effective with the hand.
Kerry Roop is looking tired. Those Macaruso right hands have taken their toll. Kerry Roop is not stinging like he did in the first 2 rounds.
Macaruso really putting the pressure on now. Hard right hand into Kerry Roop.
Roop fighting back courageously off the rope. As you can see, he's tired. He is very tired, Joe. And not because he's not in shape. He is in shape. He's just been taking a lot of punishment from Dan Macaruso in these 3 rounds.
Taking hard punches. Roop is taking hard punches from Macaruso back against the ropes.
That's the end of round number 3, and we'll be back right after this. How do you have it scored as we go in round 4?
I've got Roop and Macaruso. Sorry, first round I gave to Kerry Roop. Next 2 rounds to Macaruso. I've got Macaruso ahead 29-28 now. Kerry Roop now acting like he's going to have to finish it off in this round. Looks like he might have gotten some word from the corner that he was going to have to take him out this round.
Macaruso will have none of it. He let Roop burn off his steam from the early part of the 4th round, and now he's letting him have some of his own medicine.
Roop covering up, but Macaruso still able to get inside with the straight shots and the uppercuts.
Joe, I have to admit, these are 2 high-class fighters. Both fighters very, very good with both the hands and the feet.
Both men throwing a lot of kicks. Macaruso so far with 31 kicks before this round. Roop with 41 kicks. Spinning kick in by Macaruso, landing on Kerry Roop's jaw, but it was extended. Hard right hands in by Macaruso. Looks like Kerry Roop is definitely in trouble here. He's in good condition. He can pull it back together in a hurry. Separated by center referee Glenn Keeney.
At this point, Macaruso has 8 kicks and Roop has 9 kicks in this round.
Hard uppercut now by Macaruso. Another hard uppercut. Roop definitely in trouble, trying to cover up. Macaruso closing. Looked like Roop would have gone down then, but he landed against the chest of Dan Macaruso as he came off the ropes.
Very game fighter, Kerry Roop. Macaruso is definitely hitting Kerry Roop at will with a stiff left hand and a hard right hand.
Hard kicked in by Kerry Roop was extended. No effect on Dan Macaruso.
And just as you said that, Joe, Macaruso came in with a right hand of his own. That's the end of round 4. We'll be back with round 5 after this. Along with Joe Corley ringside. And let's take a look at some of that action from round 4.
Macaruso with the spinning kick, the one that just barely grazed the jaw of Kerry Roop there. Roop definitely in trouble at this point in the fight. Low kick in thrown by Macaruso. Warning from the referee. Kerry Roop fighting back hard now off the ropes.
This is round 5 of a scheduled 9-rounder, but the way it's looking, it doesn't look like it'll go that far. It looks like Dan Macaruso, the champ, can put the touches on Kerry Roop at will.
Hard right hands continue to land by Macaruso. Roop not moving his head out of the way of those shots. Hard front kicks then thrown by Dan Macaruso.
Good hard right hand by Kerry Roop coming off the rope.
Hard round kicked in by Kerry Roop, landed on the shoulder of Dan Macaruso. Kerry Roop's eyes glazed, definitely in trouble. He's fighting with pure heart at this point, Larry.
It definitely is. You can see all the sting is gone from his kicks. The ones that were landing hard in the early rounds, now just throwing them up there. They can
now by a score of 39-36.
No question in my mind, the visitor from Providence, Rhode Island, Dan Macaruso, has taken control of this fight.
Landing hard body shots, Macaruso is, as well as the hard punches to the head. His kicking is not real fast, is not real spectacular, but has been effective so far in setting up the hand. Macaruso with a spinning kick, then missed. Roop with a spinning kick. Macaruso moving out of the way, countering with a right hand hook.
Kerry Roop is kicking and then not doing anything after the kicks, allowing Dan Macaruso to slip the kick and then move in.
Hard spinning back fist in thrown by Dan Macaruso.
That's the end of round number 5, and we'll be back right after this.
Can you hear us there?
Larry Black, along with Joe Corley, getting ready for round number 6. Scheduled 9 rounds, light heavyweight championship bout for the United States title. And so far in this fight, Dan Macaruso, the U.S. champ, has really dominated over Kerry Roop, the challenger in 4th rank.
Yeah, I gave that last round to Dan Macaruso by a score, Larry, of 10-9 once again, which has Macaruso leading by a score on my card of 49-46.
As has been the case in the first 5 rounds, Kerry Roop has come out really punching hard in the first few seconds, but then Dan Macaruso lets him wear himself out and puts the touches on him. Hard side kick by Macaruso.
Very hard side kick. So far, I would say that the primary Kerry Roop's primary game plan backfired on him early in the fight. Macaruso took the fight away from him in close. Both Macaruso and Roop both had said they were going to come in and fight inside, and it seems like Roop has done the better job inside.
I beg your pardon. I think Macaruso did the better job inside.
What did I say, Roop again? Macaruso definitely doing the better job inside.
In the red pants, the U.S. champion, Dan Macaruso. In the black pants, the number 4 contender and challenger for the title, Kerry Roop. Kerry has the hometown crowd behind him, but that's all he has going for him. Round 6 action in the far corner with Dan Macaruso and Kerry Roop slugging it out in close, toe-to-toe.
Spinning kick followed with a back leg round kick into the body of Dan Macaruso. Kerry Roop looking like he's got a little more energy left, but Macaruso still landing the telling blows against the ropes there.
That's the end of round number 6, and in that round, neither fighter took the advantage. Both fighters seem to be using this as a breather round, just checking it out. We'll be back with more right after this. Larry Black along with Joe Corley, and we're getting ready for round number 7. A scheduled 9-rounder for the U.S. title. Light heavyweights Dan Macaruso in the red pants, Kerry Roop in the black pants.
Macaruso with 8 kicks in that last round. Roop with 13 kicks again. But Kerry Roop's kicks are still not as effective as Dan Macaruso's overall fight plan has been.
Macaruso said his favorite kick was that round kick, but he seems to be really landing with those side kicks and back kicks with the heel, the unprotected part of the foot.
And just as you said that, Larry, landed a front leg round kick on Kerry Roop. Roop caught it mostly on the glove, but slipped off, caught him high on the head. Kerry Roop very tired, having trouble holding his arms up. Macaruso throwing hard kicks now, hard back leg kick.
And once again, Kerry Roop threw a kick, and then he didn't do anything else after, and so Macaruso took advantage of it and moved in. Seems that every time Kerry Roop throws a kick, Dan Macaruso gets a good right hand in there.
I had that last round with Dan Macaruso 10-9 again. I have Macaruso leading now by a score of 59-55. Kerry Roop is really going to have to do some phenomenal fighting or take him out to take this fight away from him.
Now we should mention, since this is Kerry Roop's hometown, that is an unofficial score. I don't see how the judges could go any other way. Dan Macaruso has just completely dominated this fight with Kerry Roop.
Roop is moving back in a straight line. He's fighting by sheer guts and determination now, Larry. Another hard left hand hook then landing by Macaruso. Macaruso with a not amazing speed in his punches, not amazing speed in his kicks, but the things just keep landing. Roop not getting himself out of the way of the thing.
Roop is a very courageous fighter, but Macaruso is a very talented fighter. Landing those full power punches, using the strategy of the kicks and the punches to keep Roop at the proper range.
Macaruso looks almost listless when he's fighting, but he just keeps coming and keeps landing those blows.
And that's the end of the round. We'll be back right after this.
Missing some votes from some of the fights. If you could return them to the announcing desk, we would appreciate it very much. And also, I would like to announce that the fighters will not be paid until we get the gloves back.
Let's see some of that action from that round, Joe.
Roop with a spinning kick.
This is where he would spin around, fake the kick, and then come out with a back leg round kick. Very good move, except Dan Macaruso was ready for it. He blocked it with his left arm.
Oh, Macaruso with a good spinning back swing kick then off the left leg.
This is round number 8. Scheduled 9-rounder, 8 minimum kicks per round, and these fighters have thrown more than those 8 minimum kicks.
Kerry Roop continuing to absorb those punches. He's throwing a lot of kicks still, but Macaruso still landing the hard shots. Roop with 13 kicks in that last round. Macaruso with 9.
Hard side kicks. Left leg side kicks by Macaruso.
Oh, hard round kicks in by Dan Macaruso with Kerry Roop moving forward and almost catching the shin on the side of the head.
Both these fighters have carried this pace tremendously. We're in the 8th, the next to the last round, and they're still punching and kicking as hard as they can. Unbelievable pace these fighters have set. Kerry Roop has not given up. He's still slugging in close.
Very game fighter. Very game fighter. Number 4 in the world versus number 1 in the world. Dan Macaruso, Larry, is much improved over the last time I saw him fight. This will be an interesting fight between Dan Macaruso and Jeff Smith. Hard uppercut, left hook, right uppercut combination again by Dan Macaruso.
Kerry Roop's head is snapping back with repeated strength.
A lot of force in the blows of Dan Macaruso. He's timing them well. He's landing them at just the right point. And Kerry Roop is not defending himself the way he
Larry Black along with Joe Corley ringside for this United States Championship bout. This is the 9th and final round. We have 8 minimum kicks required per round. Kerry Roop in the black pants, Dan Macaruso in the red pants. Kerry Roop is the number 4 contender, Dan Macaruso the U.S. champion, and it looks like he's going to continue to be the U.S. light heavyweight champion.
On my score, Larry, which is unofficial, if Kerry Roop doesn't knock Dan Macaruso out in this round, I've got Macaruso leading 79-74.
That's a wide margin. There's no way that Kerry Roop can make up that kind of difference, as you said, without knocking him out.
A lot of determination by Kerry Roop from the 4th round on. He has been hurting. Still throwing hard kicks. Kerry Roop with 13 kicks in that last round. Dan Macaruso also with 13 kicks in that last round. Dan Macaruso not content to sit back. He knows he's in Roop's hometown, but even so, he's not content to sit back and take it. He knows he's ahead now, but he's fighting gamely. He knows when he meets Jeff Smith, it's going to be 12 non-stop, complete, full action rounds.
Dan Macaruso looking like world-class material. Jeff Smith's going to have all he can handle with Dan Macaruso. Ninth round action. Kerry Roop fighting back off the rope.
Destroy the fight. Dan Macaruso coming in. Kerry Roop covering up with Macaruso landing the more telling blows. Roop lands a blow once in a while, but he does not land them with the frequency that Macaruso has. Hard left punch, right hand punch to the body then by Roop. Crowd excited. Macaruso holding on.
Crowd is on their feet. They're cheering their hometown favorite, Kerry Roop, in his bid for the light heavyweight championship of the United States.
Hard punches in, landing by Dan Macaruso up against the rope. 3-punch combination.
Joe, I thought I heard the bell. I thought I heard the bell.
The bell did ring.
The crowd is so noisy that we could not hear the bell. And that's the end of this fight. And as it ended, blood coming from the nose of Kerry Roop.
I gave that last round even then, Larry. Good return effort then by Kerry Roop, but not enough on my unofficial score. I would have it at this point 89 for Macaruso, 84 for Roop. But we're right here in Kerry Roop's hometown, so it could be closer than that.
Well, we'll be looking for the judge's decision in just a moment. Fighters are now having their gloves removed.
On the 18th of December at Carmen Beach, we will be putting on full contact karate matches. If you're interested in taking...
While we're waiting on that decision, we'll be back right after this.
Again, I'd like to announce that they will be opening up the discotheque here at the Rare Cherry. Stick around, have a couple drinks, dance a little bit. We're open till 2 a.m. I would like to offer a special thanks to Mr. Glenn Key, the center referee and the official PKA representative. He did a super job out there as refereeing tonight.
On the final match, they don't think it's middle because if you will, he announced the winner. Let's go to losers. Win the court, give him
The scorekeepers are tallying it up now.
Here's Joe Corley at ringside. Larry Black in the ring awaiting the announcement of the judge's decision. Larry to get an interview with the loser of the fight there in the ring. And we will interview the winner of the fight here at ringside. What a tough fight. Dan Macaruso really improved over the last time I saw him fight. He's landing his punches much more solidly now, landing his kicks much more frequently. Kerry Roop came out strong. I think he perhaps burned himself out too early in the fight. I think we're ready for the judge's decision.
Judge Randy scores 78 points for Kerry Roop, 90 points for Macaruso. Judge Willie Adams scores 81 points for Kerry Roop, 84 points for Dan Macaruso.
Looks like Dan Macaruso has taken it.
Mazari scores 72 points for Kerry Roop, 88 points for Dan Macaruso. It's a unanimous decision. Dan Macaruso is the winner.
Dan Macaruso retaining his U.S. light heavyweight championship title, which really firmly entrenches him in preparation for a bout against world champion Jeff Smith in Providence in January. Larry Black in the center of the ring now to interview Kerry Roop.
I'd like to have a word with Kerry Roop first. Kerry, if I can get you right over here, we'll come right back with Dan Macaruso. Kerry, it was a hard-fought fight. You did everything you could in those early rounds. You really came after him, but it looked like you ran out of gas. What happened to you about the third or fourth round?
Ran out of gas.
Ran out of gas. Was it a fault of your training, or you think you just turned it on too much in the early rounds?
It's a fault of my training. I had, now I can tell everybody, I had a broken rib, found out 3 days ago. And as of Monday of last week, I couldn't train. But I didn't want to call the fight off. So I took it anyway.
You were out here fighting with a broken rib, and you weren't able to train, and yet you're still out here and you went the whole 9 rounds. I think you should be congratulated for that.
Thank you very much. And good fight. I'd like to fight again when I can get better shape.
Well, when you are in better shape, I can just see that you're giving him everything that he could possibly handle.
Should be a little bit better, yeah.
Well, you know, all I can say is it was a heartbreaking loss. We're watching it in slow motion. We're seeing the action, and even right to the end, you were still giving it back to him. It just, you didn't have the win left.
That's it.
Well, all we can say is come back in there and try it again.
I'll be back very shortly.
Okay. Sorry about that, Kerry. We're gonna try to get a word with Kerry Roop, a word with Dan Macaruso right after this. Standing with the winner and continuing United States light heavyweight champion Dan Macaruso of Providence, Rhode Island. Dan, that was a heck of a fight. Kerry Roop came out really putting the pressure on in the early rounds, but then he gave out a gas, and you seemed to put the touches on him. What were you feeling about that third or fourth round?
Well, I thought I had him, but I just couldn't put him away. He was going, but he's a smart fighter. He just stayed right on me, and I couldn't get him.
Well, I just saw the Kerry Roop. He said he didn't tell anyone before the fight that he was fighting with a broken rib. He couldn't train. Do you think this is just an excuse, or do you think he really was hurt?
Well, let me tell you, this is about the 10th time I heard such excuses like that. If a person is hurt, he shouldn't even bother going in the ring in the first place.
Well, it was a heck of a fight. Kerry Roop was still trying at the end of the fight, but you were definitely in control the whole fight. One of the judges gave you every round. You know, how did you feel at any time that you were hurt, or that Kerry Roop had any kind of advantage?
No, he was tough, but he never really hurt me. I was in control the whole fight.
Well, congratulations on a wonderful win, and we're going to look for you against light heavyweight champion of the world, Jeff Smith.